gentlemen, welcome to the Pitchlight Chronicles. I'm Uncle Tats. I am here with my brother, the one and only Donald Stewart. Donald, look, we missed you yesterday. We had a great day on the channel, right? And not a great day for the Yankees.
No, it isn't. But it's a really good start.
No, we had reached, we're like, all right, we're at 500, and we all knew, I called it, we all called it. The sweep was coming. It was just inevitable. This is probably the frustration's so bad you can't even be angry.
We can't be surprised
at this point. Going, yeah, called it. Yep, called it. Every single at bat, strikeout, called it. Double play, called it. Solid starting pitching, no offense, called it. Boone not knowing what to say in the press conference, called it. We've predicted every motherfucking thing that has happened, but I want your reaction. All right, give us a little bit about what's going on in Donald's head right now.
Completely unsubscribed. I can't even speak. I'm not surprised. I'm unsurprised. There's nothing about this that is surprising. Because if anyone was paying attention to what has been going on in these off seasons, the Yankees have been deluding themselves for years. The Yankees front office, it starts from Hal Steinbrenner, Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, the analytics front office, the development guys, whoever the hell they are because they're terrible at their jobs. They've all been deluding themselves for a while now. The Yankees have been selling us a terrible product for a while, but they've gotten away with it because Aaron Judge had a remarkable year last year. It was a historic year, but you can't rely on that every year. So what's going to happen when Aaron Judge doesn't have a historic year? This is what you see. So with Aaron Judge being out a little while, you see exactly what the cracks are and the holes are, and these holes are massive. It's enough to sink a ship. They are giant holes. The roster needs completely reconstructed. Completely from scratch. Like, there's very few pieces that you can go, right, we're in a good start with this guy. We're in a good spot with this guy. Apart from Aaron Judge, I don't know. I mean, that's it, right? I don't know, right? The rotation's a mess. Apart from Garrett Cole. The bullpen is our best asset. But again, there's not one arm where I'm like, oh my God, we have to keep him. They're fine. They're good. Decent at their jobs. But I mean, it's nothing earth shattering going on here. The managing situation, Aaron Boone is, this is only just exacerbating what we've already known about Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone is not a manager that can handle a team that needs lead. He's not a leader of men. He just isn't.
No.
He speaks a lot of horse shit after a game, and he beefs up his players and talks about how great they are and talks about how, they're just one step closer. It'll be round the corner. It's all going to be great. It's all going to be fine. And it's just always moving on to that next day. Oh, tomorrow's going to be great. He's been doing it for years. Tomorrow hasn't been great. It's honestly, that's just what it's been with Aaron Boone. He's not a good manager of a team that needs lead, that needs strategy, that needs a manager that knows exactly what he's going to do A to B in terms of bullpen management or when to hand it off from a starter to a bullpen. He doesn't know what to do with that. He doesn't know anything about matchups or strategy. He doesn't have it. He never has had it. He hasn't had it since he was first hired. And years later, he still doesn't have it. Now, he's gone away with it because up until a couple of years ago, this Yankee team was loaded and ready for bear. And honestly, a chimp could have done the job that he did, right? Just beef up your players, tell them how great they are, and let them play, right? But now this team is broken, and you need a manager that can press the right buttons, that can motivate them. And the thing is, Aaron Boone has had ample opportunity all year long to set fire to the roster, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He has an ample opportunity. The 18 strikeout game against the Orioles, that was an ample opportunity for you to go, this is an absolute disgrace. This is the New York Yankees. What the hell are you doing? What did he do instead? He told us, the fans and the media, that actually they played really well. It's just they worked the pitcher really, really well, despite the 18 strikeouts. I mean, that's a freaking joke. Are you kidding me? So Aaron Boone is shot. But I was checked out on him years ago. I don't think he's the culprit for this. Not even close. But not even close. Not even like 30% of this is his fault. Like he's just wearing this because he's not a good manager. But it all is on Brian Cashman, who has lied to us. He's deluded himself. He's been arrogant, and he's allowed the entire American League East to overtake him. The entire AL East to overtake us in 1 year. He's managed to do it. And that's all because of mismanagement, arrogance, delusion, and the Yankees still think that they're the Yankees, and they still think they can just do this without turning up. Well, this is what we're getting. Honestly, it's a shit show. It's an embarrassing day. This is the lowest the Yankees have been in my lifetime. As a Yankee fan, this is the lowest we've ever been, in my opinion. Certainly, this is the worst record we've had since 1995, which is a long frickin' time ago. And honestly, this is a huge issue that can't just be beefed up by a couple of trades. The entire operation needs cleared out. All of it. We're broken.
No, it's really demoralizing. You know, you're trying to. It's not like you're on the cusp of having just a core that's going to catch fire, right? We haven't even seen a significant win streak this year. So the smoke and mirrors chatter, in the press conferences that it's right in front of us. There's still time for us to put some streaks together, and I understand, and I don't want to attack Judge, right? Because here's a guy that probably should not be playing, that is just, his heart is in it. He wants this team to succeed. And he's like, look, if I got to come back early, put this team on my back, then so be it. But even he's not, you could see he's just not the superstar that he was before that collision in the LA. There's just a little something off about him. But they're also not even letting him swing the bat. So the only piece that could get this offense going, they're eliminating the guy. We said it yesterday. Well, Rob and I. Just walk him and wait for the double play. And there you go. And you just took the whole offense away. The roster is not a terrible roster. It's but nobody expected, you had the misfortune with Judge. You had the misfortune with Rizzo. Also, Trevino. Let's not forget. He was trying to play hurt. LeMahieu. We all know he had something. He wasn't 100%. You had players that were expected to play so much better, where it didn't seem like it was. You only needed a couple of one or two pieces to really get this thing going and elevate to the next level. The injuries, and this is what pisses me off about it. It was the mismanagement of the injuries. We could go on. We could talk for 5 hours about that. But it was also, that's they're going to be their excuse to run it back again. That makes it even worse, because it's going to be like, well, it's not Boone's fault. Half his players were hurt. Some of them did not have a career year. Volpe, the rookie, is trying to develop, and he's trying to figure out his spot in the on the team. Cabrera, he had to go up and down because of all this shit. Nobody foresee Cortez, falling, getting hurt. We expected so much more from Sevy. And let me tell you, especially in a walk year, we all expected a little more from Savvy. Not even a Cy Young year. We expected at least a competitive pitcher. We haven't gotten that for years now. They're going to use all these excuses. And then next year, we're going to have the same fucking roster. It's, they might sprinkle in, a 38-year-old, left fielder that nobody wants. You say, well, we got the left fielder. The guy can't fucking play no more. They ran it back with Donaldson, which was a guy that was on this roster that never should have been. You're relying on players that they don't. It's just not. They're just having a bad year. But the Yankees need to have that, that Godfather moment where we cannot be afforded to make it to look ridiculous, and that's what they're doing. They're making this uniform, right? This jersey is looking ridiculous right now.
Yep.
And significant changes. I'm not talking about a couple of roster moves. I'm talking about heads fucking rolling down the hill. I want them rolling down River Avenue, never to be seen again. I.e. Cashman, Boone, the analytics team, send them all down fucking River Avenue. Let them go overboard and just. I don't even want to see or hear those names ever the fuck again, because they have destroyed the legacy of this franchise. Teams are begging to play us. Where when we grew up during the dynasty, it was the other way around. You were ordering an extra pair of fucking underwear because you were going to shit yourself when the Yankees came to town. Now they're going, oh, okay, let's just, we can sleepwalk through all this whole season because the Yankees are, it's just fucking embarrassing. And now, for the first time since I was in fucking high school, the team is under 500 this late in the season. Unfucking acceptable. Should have got off the pot, fire everybody. I already went over it, a couple of times with the lineup that I would put forward, the kids that I would bring up, just make the changes. If you have any sense of pride in that ownership group, how are these shareholders happy that when they hear that they're going to be announcing, they're already scheduling a fire Cashman night? You can't tell me that they're so tone deaf to social media that they don't know this is happening. I'm afraid, security is going to be, I hope security is very fair to any of the fans. Because you could almost see like this James Dolan moment where fans are being kicked out of the stadium because of this. Don, what do you think?
Well, you're spot on. I mean, it is an embarrassment. I would say that this is actually probably the worst season that we've had in maybe 40, 50 years, including the 80s, because of the expectations. This Yankee team had expectations to not only make the postseason, but to make noise in the postseason. And we couldn't be further from that. Couldn't be further from it. That's why I would certainly say this is probably the worst season the Yankees have had in decades and decades and decades. It's that bad. But Brian Cashman is the architect to all of this, because if anyone paid attention properly and looked at this roster was built on a house of cards. It was built on a house of cards. You're looking at Giancarlo Stanton, who they're terrified to have him even jog around the bases, let alone play the outfield. They decided to abandon left field. They don't have a left fielder. They're like, we don't need a left fielder. Just don't need a left fielder this year, right? We'll have a platoon of backup catchers. We don't have any depth at first base. If anything happens to Rizzo, well, that's what's happened. We'll figure it out. We have 1 million infielders. So we start moving infielders in the outfield. Yeah, that'll do. This is what Brian Cashman's built. He's mismanaged injuries. We're looking at Frankie Montas. He dealt significant prospects for Frankie Montas. He didn't look at his medical records. And if he did, he obviously screwed it up, because the guy was hurt. I was saying it from the time that we acquired him and he was hurt. I said he was acquired hurt. And that's exactly what's happened. That is negligence. Any general manager should have been fired on the spot for that. On the spot. And then you're looking at Anthony Rizzo. Brian Cashman should have been fired on the spot for what they did to Anthony Rizzo. You're asking a guy who got his head bashed in by Fernando Tatis to basically play a day or two later and play every day for the next 2-3 months. Months! We're talking about someone who had a serious concussion that was not well and was asked to diagnose 100-mile-an-hour fastballs or sliders or curveballs in a split second with a concussion. How dangerous that is? You could have gotten the guy seriously hurt, if not worse. That's negligence. Any general manager should be fired for that on the spot. But we've been talking about this before, so I'm not going to harp on it. But we're repeating ourselves. This team mismanages injuries. Just look what they did with Aaron Judge when Aaron Judge had a rib injury, and they didn't realize that it was actually much worse than that. And they had him play every day. This is a team that mismanages injuries. They have a general manager who is either arrogant, delusional, or flat out incompetent. And you can make the argument for all three. The only thing that Brian Cashman has in his locker is having one good offseason. Actually one good trade deadline in 2016 that helped push this team to the 2017 Baby Bombers thing before he absolutely imploded it anyway. And then the World Championships, what he got on the basis of a system that was already built before him by Stick Michael. So at the end of the day, Brian Cashman has been resting on his laurels from things that happened 20-odd years ago. But what has he done right now? Because I'm looking at it, and what I'm seeing is he hired a rookie manager that hasn't moved his team forward at all. He got rid of developmental guys, old school baseball minds, got rid of them all, and brought in a whole analytics staff that have imploded this organization. What I'm seeing is they can't develop anybody. Who have they developed other than Aaron Judge? They don't develop anyone. So you're looking at this thing, and it's completely broken. It's completely shot, and it's an unmitigated disaster. It's a disaster class that Brian Cashman's built. And he built this roster on a house of cards, and this roster isn't actually that good because if you look at it, they don't have a left fielder. They don't have a long-term center fielder. First base is now a question mark. They don't have a long-term second baseman right now because they don't know if they're going to re-sign Gleyber Torres. And do you want to re-sign Gleyber Torres? I don't know. They don't have a long-term catcher. They don't have a third baseman. I'm going through half the roster here. And they don't have anything long-term apart from Aaron Judge. This thing is a complete shit show. And if anyone is deluding themselves that, just a couple of injuries and this team will be ready to go next year, you're out of your minds because Brian Cashman has deluded you guys because that's not the facts. It's not factually correct. This team is a mess. Complete mess.
All right. Well, you catch your breath. I want everybody to hit that like button, share this video out, and Donald, take a deep breath. It's roll call time, buddy.
Yes, it's roll call time. Salute. We got a good chat here, and it's only time that we salute you guys back. Fort Train Express, Mazza, what is up? What is up? Hashtag buried under 100 foot of crap. Yep, that's pretty much us. Anthony Garcia, salute. NFE, morning, NFE, how are you, my guy? Let's get going with Anthony Garcia. What is Anthony Garcia saying here? Even Judge saying it's right in front of us. I know. That's what's scary. That if even your team captain is starting to listen to Aaron Boone's horse crap, terrifying. Yeah, exactly. NFE. The team is below 500, but that's okay. This team is still a championship caliber team. Not sure why fans are upset. Al Steinbrenner. Yeah, Al Steinbrenner said a couple of weeks ago, I don't know why fans are so upset.
No, you
I can
think
tell you
back
why,
to
because we're last
fucking
place.
June when we all saw this shit.
NFE. Fortran, a toddler would manage this team better. Exactly. Medina. What is happening? Right. Let's move forward with some more guys. Get Dev Finch here. Yanks have a lot injured. Yeah, they do, but they've kind of mismanaged it. So they're as much of a culprit as anybody
Well,
else.
yeah, the mismanagement with the injuries is because a lot of this was known before the trade deadline, and they sat idle and did nothing. You could have addressed a lot of these injuries, and they decided that their journeymen were just as good as trading some pieces.
Exactly. Joan, we don't need McKinney, Allen, or Bauer holding back prospects. I completely
You
agree.
know,
We're seeing far too many at bats from the McKinneys, from the Willie Calhouns, from all these dudes of this world, and not enough at bats of actual prospects. Completely agree. Dev, maybe fire Cashman, 100% fire Brian Cashman. I'm
yeah.
sorry, that's the truth. Medina, we like this one. How does Cashman keep his job when stuff is coming out that they don't teach fundamentals in the minors? That's under his watch. Agreed. Cashman needs to go, yes. Roster cloggers, DJ Stanton and Rizzo, Laurie. Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I have to agree with her at this stage.
we're in a tough spot with all three of them because all three of them are great players when healthy, but they've not been healthy in a while, and they've not been at their best in a while. So, yeah, we're in a tough spot. We're in a really tough spot.
You know,
They have Yankees have a clown
yeah,
health team.
exactly. I just saw that one. You know,
That's a true. Yeah, the health team is a joke. Another thing I want to recommend is guys read this article that I did yesterday. It was prior to us losing again last night, but I wrote an article about how the Yankees have mismanaged this entire roster for years now, and so they are very much our architects of why we are where we are. So I do recommend giving that a look when you guys have a chance. But thanks so much for everyone in the chat, and this is my opportunity to say thank you so much for everyone who has been tuning in, and especially who tuned in to Tats and Rob's show yesterday. You guys really balled out for us, and almost got 800 views in the 24 hours. It's an amazing job. We love the fact that you guys are tuning in to watch us, and we always aim to give back and provide a good show for you guys. So a big salute to everyone that watches us, everyone that supports us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's it really was kind of it was our best stream that we've had since we've done it, and that's all thanks to you guys. And that's why Donald contacted me this morning. He's like, "Hey, I'm free this morning. What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I'll set it up." And you guys showed up. You guys showed up when we don't even do shows on Thursday. You guys were still here. This is why we keep doing this. So, really, we love you guys. And like I said on Concepts After Dark, I could do this every day, 24 hours a day. If I could do this for a living, I could do this no problem. I love interacting with you guys. What I don't love is continuing to talk about this bullshit and that piece of shit, no heart, no soul, no drive, no pride GM that keeps fucking up this team and not giving us anything positive to talk about. I said this a little bit before. I'm going to say it one more time. And here's my message to any of the fans that are going to that Fire Cashman night. Keep your cool. Keep your cool. Don't get yourself banned from the stadium. Don't give them that window to pull a James Dolan and just start, plucking people out of the seats. Don't give security a hard time. They're not the problem. Just be rowdy, but be respectful to the staff that's going to be in those areas. That's all I ask. Because you don't want to ruin it where now it's becoming, we don't want to riot, right? We want to talk like we're rioting. We want to yell like we're rioting. I think it's the NFE. The Fire Cashman night is the 22nd. And there's going to be something going on. I think in sections 203, 204. It's all over social media. We'll tweet it out ourselves on the Pinstripe page. Yeah, the 22nd. Thanks, Garcia. Just remember, if security comes up to you, they're just doing their job. Unlike some other people in the Yankees front office. That's it.
I love that the fans are actually wanting to make their voice heard because this is the only opportunity that we have. We have podcasts and we have NYY News. We've got us. You got guys that are trying really hard to get this filtered through to the organization who have got very much their blinders up. They are not interested in us as fans. You just heard Michael Kay yesterday just basically calling fans stupid, right? When he attacked Peter Rosenberg for just saying, yeah, the Yankees have got it wrong, and he's like, you sound like a fan. So I mean, there you go.
He does sound like a fan. We've been saying it for 4 fucking years.
That says it all about how the Yankees treat their fans. They treat their fans with utmost disrespect. So this is the only thing we have. So yeah, Brian, fire Cashman night, fire Boone night. I don't care. Fire whoever night. Good. More of you guys need to stand up because Hal Steinbrenner basically already told Bob Klapisch that Brian Cashman's coming back no matter what happens. Even if they lose every single game the rest of the year, the plan is still bring back Brian Cashman. So this is our opportunity to stand up and say, no. You can't gaslight us any further. You cannot gaslight us any further.
I like this comment from Joan. Who's K? Yeah, it's either Michael K or Mary K, depending on what he's, if he's talking for the fans or if he's talking for the organization. But Laurie, I had gone into he acts like he talks for the Yankee fans. He does, which is why. Look, I'm not saying Michael Kay is a bad person or he's a terrible broadcaster, but that's why I have such a hard time being a fan of his. Because I don't know which Michael Kay I'm going to be getting day by day.
Great point.
Because there are times he'll go on a rant where we're like, all right, he's finally understanding our side of it. And then he turns it into where now he's just paying lip service for the organization. You listen to John Sterling and Susan Waldman on the broadcast, they're the opposite. They're almost laughing at these Yankee guys, these Yankee players, and with the double plays. And they're like, could you believe? They're old school. Michael Kay is not. And for somebody that was under John's tutelage, it's a shame that they're so afraid of their jobs they can't speak.
You're so spot on with the point that you don't know what Michael Kay is going to turn up one day to the next. Now, as someone who aspires to be a broadcaster, I look up to Michael Kay for his talent as a broadcaster. He's a remarkable broadcaster, right? Remarkable. However, he speaks out of both sides of his mouth, and it's now an actual scientific fact now that he talks out of both sides of his mouth because about 48 hours prior, he was going on a rant about how Brian Cashman has completely screwed this team, and Brian Cashman's at fault for all of this, right? And now a couple of days later, he's trying to defend Brian Cashman. So, like, you're listening to this going, what's happening here? So I'm glad that Peter Rosenberg was like, you just sound like you're making excuses. Because at the end of the day, he's just a company guy. And I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. Like, we need facts. And what he was, obviously we're talking about, in case anyone hasn't already picked up, I'm not even sure if we can even put it on our podcast for copyright reasons. But basically, Michael Kay went in depth about how the Yankees thought they could roll it back because, they weren't expecting a bunch of these things to happen that happened. right? Basically, more excuses. Peter Rosenberg was like, this sounds a lot like excuses to me. And then Michael Kay lost his ever-loving mind, and he started ranting and screaming and losing his nuts over it. So at the end of the day, you're spot on, Tats. I don't know what Michael Kay turns up one day to the next, because I don't know whether Hal Steinbrenner got in touch with him and said, you need to defend this organization. I don't know. Who knows? Because it's so weird that, like, basically 2 days later, he's defending the organization where a couple of days prior, he was ripping the organization. He speaks out of both sides of his mouth.
It's one thing that, if you preface it, and I've done it, well, I'll preface it by saying, all right, let's try to look at it from the other lens. But he talks about it with such conviction, you think it's his own idea. But we all know it's lip service. If I was to say, let's look at it from another point of view where maybe it's not Cashman's fault, that all these players got hurt. Maybe it's not Cashman's fault that these players aged so quickly. Well, it would be his fault because he had no contingency plans. And that's the immediate argument right to that. He had no backup plan. So it is his fault. So you can't defend him.
You can't.
There's no defending Cashman anymore.
None.
The only one I still have a little bit of sorrow for is Boone, because he's the one that's going to lose his job because of it. Nobody else. And then the coaching staff will be replaced with the next manager, maybe, unless Cashman puts his 2 cents into that. I think that if could you see a situation where we get swept again against the Red Sox? Is that going to be? Would that be the final straw to tell Boone they have to make a move before September?
I mean, how much more can it possibly go? We're below 500.
Give Miguel Rojas the fucking manager's job. Let's see what he can do. He managed the Mets for a little while. He's got a little bit of experience. He's been around the clubhouse. But in the chat, what do you think? Do you think if they get swept by Boston, is that going to be it for Boone? You think that'll be? They're going to need to throw somebody to the wolves, aka Yankee fans, to say, all right, we hear your frustration.
I don't think any move is going to happen until the end of the season. Here's the truth: Hal Steinbrenner doesn't want to make any moves. That's the thing about Hal Steinbrenner. He doesn't want to make any moves. He doesn't. Bob Clappish said on the Michael Kay show last week, he said Hal Steinbrenner is very much a reluctant owner. Like, he was basically dragged kicking and screaming to lead this organization. He didn't really want it. And now he cares. I guess he cares, but at the end of the day, he's a reluctant owner. He doesn't want to hire and fire people. He doesn't want the responsibility. He's handed Brian Cashman the keys, and he's just let him go and do his thing without accountability. So at the end of the day, I'd be shocked if Hal Steinbrenner suddenly woke up at some point next week and went, right, let's make some huge changes. I don't think it's going to happen. I do think that Aaron Boone will be fired at the end of the season, purely because we're in last place, and it's very hard to sell to a fan base, media, shareholders, bondsmen. It's very hard to share to any of them that the Yankees are moving in the right direction if Aaron Boone's brought back. Someone has to be a sacrificial lamb. But the truth is, that's real sacrificial lamb. I mean, at the end of the day, the real culprit is Brian Cashman. He's the architect to all of this, including Aaron Boone, including Dylan Lawson. The person that is hiring these disaster class coaches somehow gets a free pass in the organization and has been doing so for a long time. It's time. It's very much time. It's long since time Brian Cashman should have gone. He should have lost his job a couple of years ago. He should never have been retained on a 4-year contract. That's insanity. And it's already blown up in their face within year one of his new contract. Which, again, if anyone was paying attention, shouldn't surprise people. This whole roster was built on a house of cards.
That's what it is. This whole season's been a facade.
Yeah.
They give us, in the offseason, they bring back Judge, they get Rodon, and then the statement comes, oh, we're not done yet. Huh? When are you going to finish what you started? You have any plan to do that at all? You're like that, that guy in his 30s that thinks he's still the popular kid when he peaked in high school. Because we haven't had any success since 2017 where we actually felt like this team was actually good enough to win. Ever since then, you've been trying to ride that wave that is, it's flat water now. There's no juice left to it.
None.
You listen to us. You listen to Pete on NYY News. You listen to Maz on the 4 Train. Jason on 161, Hector and TC on Morning Sports. We're all in the same boat of just being so pissed off that we don't see any improvements coming anytime soon until the significant changes. And not that we don't want to voice our frustrations. We don't want to hear your frustrations. Of course we do. That's why we're here. But we also want to go back to where we were actually talking about when this team was good. We want to be able to celebrate, and go, wow, I can't believe they're pulling this off. I can't believe they actually swept the fucking series. When was the last time we swept a series? Did we even?
When was the last time we won a series?
Yeah, let's win a series. Then worry about sweeping it. You're right. I think on the fan last night they had Ricky Ricardo filling in for Keith, and he was saying that I think they pretty much on Sundays is the game days they always lose. They have a terrible Sunday record. It's like they don't know what, it's like they just done for the week. They're on a 6-day work week. They don't show up on Sunday. This team is like on a permanent vacation right now.
Yeah.
They don't even, now you even got the captain. Now, I'm not going to get on Judge for when he made the statement. It's right in front of us. Yes, it's the same thing that his manager said. But here's the difference. Boone is saying it because he has to. Judge is saying it because I think he still believes in himself and this clubhouse. I think that, I don't think Judge is saying that just to appease the front office. It doesn't come off that way. He's not going to trash anybody, but he's going to try to speak in a positive way.
I have to give credit to Damien here for this, for that comment. Entire organization from the minors to the majors absolutely have to be held accountable. You're teaching nothing to these kids. I completely agree with that. It just goes to show that Brian Cashman has removed all player development guys and brought in all these analytics guys that are focusing on exit velo and all this stuff. And at the end of the day, good old school fundamentals are out of the question now under Brian Cashman. And you see it at the major league level. You see it. This team, you see how unprepared they are on a day-to-day basis. They throw to the wrong base. They don't know when to run the bases. They don't know they're getting thrown out. They're making the first out at third base. They're making boneheaded decisions left, right, and center. They do this on a daily basis. It starts from Brian Cashman. It's absolutely maintained by Aaron Boone. This absolute horseshit performance on a day-to-day basis. Aaron Boone is championing it, saying, "Oh, we're playing great." Lying sack of shit. I will lose no sleep when he's fired. I've been wanting him fired since day one. I knew he was going to be a disaster, but this is all new world levels of disaster. He's a bad manager. I'm sorry, he is. And it's filtered through the minor league system. The whole thing is a mess. That's why we need a new general manager. A new manager will certainly, I think, regardless of Brian Cashman's status, I think a new manager will help add a little bit of accountability. And I think and as long as they make the right hire, maybe someone that maybe knows the game a little better, and might be able to motivate these guys a little better. I think that's the most that you could expect from a new manager. But it's at the end of the day, the new manager is still going to be very much under Brian Cashman's spell and wing and tutelage. And that could only mean bad things because Brian Cashman is the cancer in this organization. He needs to be taken out.
What's going on, Nick? Any regrets that you guys focused solely on Judge and neglected the rest of the roster? Well, one,
yes.
We didn't. The GM did.
Yes. I completely agree with him.
We were asking for a starting pitcher, a bullpen piece, a right fielder. We were asking for a left fielder. There were a lot of holes that needed to be filled. The GM is the one that made sure. Look, our priority, I don't want to say our, my priority, some people agree, was to maintain Judge. Right? Like that was what they had to make sure they had done. But Cashman lacks the ability to sign anybody that can stay healthy. Yeah, does not have the ability to multitask. Right? He just sucks as a GM. You think Billy Epler's bad for your team, Nick? Cashman's got your guy beat by a fucking 10 miles.
True, because at least he picked the direction of the trade deadline.
Well, that's why it's like, I've said it before. You almost have a little bit of envy for the Met organization and the Met fans because at least their owner and GM realized it wasn't working, didn't fuck around, and just decided to hit reset.
Exactly. They're working in the best interest of the Mets.
They money when they needed to, and they made the adjustments, and they're gearing up for next year. Our team thinks that everything is they still think we're going to play in the World Series.
Yes, exactly. And there's delusional. At least the Mets weren't delusional. Now, The Mets are still the Mets, hence where they are right now. The Mets are always the Mets. They will always find a way to Met. That's just it. That their history very much follows that. But at least their management is working in the best interests of the New York Mets, right? They went all in. It didn't work, so they pivoted. Good. The Yankees have not gone all in a number of years. They're basically stuck in a carousel, and it's going round and round and round in circles, and that's all we're getting. Our management isn't working in the Yankees' best interests. They're working in the interests of themselves to protect their jobs and to tell the fans that they're stupid and that they are smart. And that's what's happening. It's like the Yankee carousel, and the Mets are at least picked a direction. Now, they're still a number of years away from being relevant again, the Mets, but at least they were working in the best interests of the New York Mets. The Yankees are not working in the best interests of the New York Yankees.
Bad. I know they talk about Appletinis and stuff like that. Believe me, on Monday's After Dark show, yeah, there might be some whiskey in my glass rather than a beer. But that'll make the night a lot more interesting. But it's like you said, we've been saying, everybody's been saying, hey, what's going on? Well, if they had a direction and they had set out, all right, this is what we're hoping for. If this happens, we're prepared for this. We're prepared, if they were prepared for any scenario during the year, I think our temper is a lot calmer because at least we knew that they anticipated some things. It's the neglect to have backup plans to your backup plans to your backup plans. That's what they have neglected to do. That's why we're so fucking pissed off all the time. Is they just think that everything is just okay. There's move along, nothing to see here. We're the Yankees. We'll be in the playoffs. We could only win one game in a year. They think they're going to win the playoffs. It's just a fucking joke. Let me ask Sunil here. What's going on, Sunil? The minute I joined, he got down to saying the Yankees meant better than the Mets. Tell me, Uncle Taz, how is that your nephew? How is your nephew really feeling? Forget about the no. This is my cousin, not my nephew. Is the Met fan in the chat. No,
Salute,
what we were
Sunil. Good to
saying
see you, man. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. No, real quick, and we're going to be getting, we're going to be logging off soon. Is Hector TC? I don't know if TC's back from vacation yet, but Hector will be on the Morning Brew Sports with their live stream.
Oh, good to see him back.
It's
It's good to see him back. We love him.
Yeah. No, it's still pressed to his father. I know it's a long battle. Actually, I got to call Jason later and see how he's feeling. This community's falling apart just like the Yankees, bro.
But Tats, we haven't even really talked about the Atlanta series. What did the Atlanta series show you?
That we are what our record is. Our offense is putrid. The pitching can hold you. The pitching remains to keep you in games. And Boone still doesn't know how to manage the bullpen. He doesn't know how to put together you can't even say he can't even put the lineup together because who in this lineup besides Judge is even going to be impactful? Not a fucking one of them. Maybe IKF, maybe Volpe. He's done live streams a few days. All right, I've been busy with work and trying to get some stuff done. I haven't really been, I've fallen off on keeping up on everybody's streams. But thanks for letting me know, Dev. No, I think this is the team that we're going to see the rest of the year. I don't see any improvement at all.
It's back-to-back shutouts is an embarrassment to the New York Yankees. It's an absolute embarrassment. It's an embarrassment for any team. I don't care which team it is. To get shut out back-to-back games, that's an absolute embarrassment. The Yankees can't even stumble one run across the board over 2 games. Are you freaking kidding me? Not even one? You can't even accidentally run into a single run? What are they doing? $300 million? Thank you, Brian. Great job with that roster. Great job, Aaron Boone. Get these guys ready to rock and roll, right? Oh, yeah, we're all going to start banging? Yeah, right, man. Yeah, they're really banging, aren't they? Back-to-back shutouts. Both of you guys are a complete disgrace to the New York Yankees. That's a fact. I'm pissed. I'm ready to rock and roll with these. Well, I'm so pissed off that these guys have lied to us, deluded us, gaslit us, and neglected this organization, and now we are where we are. I'm pissed at that. I am. I'm pissed. I'm pissed at being gaslit. I am. I just think it's just an embarrassment. You can't even stumble one run across the board. That is exactly what you guys were talking about yesterday. The Yankees roster is Aaron Judge, right? So any smart team is just going to go, well, just walk Judge because no one else is going to hit us. No one else is going to hurt us. And that's not what they've done. They're pitching around Aaron Judge because they know that no one else is going to do anything. Who in the bottom of the order is going to do anything? No one. Who at the top of the order is going to do anything? No one. So, I mean, this is the house of cards that Brian Cashman built. It's fallen apart. And Aaron Boone, I think he's just, I don't know, like, how would you describe Aaron Boone, Tats?
How would I describe Aaron Boone?
Yeah.
Like an orphan. He just wants somebody to love him. So he's going to say whatever the adults want him to say. So they take him home. That's that really. But real quick, we do have somebody new to the chat. Let's welcome in Low Temps. Low Temps, thank you for some of the feedback. Guys, let us know if he's right. Is there an issue with any of the sound that comes through? And if there is, we'll try. I know the intro could be loud for some devices. We tried lowering it. It was to no avail. Next season, when we get, every season we change up the intro. Maybe next year we'll have better luck with the sound on that. But let us know in the chat if there's any issues with the sound itself.
No issue. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. But no, low temps.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, let us know.
No, but Aaron Boone, man, like
he's
I
an
think you're
orphan.
right.
Looking at home to love him.
I think you're right. I don't know. I don't know what it is about him, but he's not a leader of men, and he comes across a complete dumbass when asked to describe to back up his decisions, and he just sounds like he doesn't know what he's doing one day to the next, and the organization reflects that. I'm not going to lose any sleep over Aaron Boone losing his job.
When you say that, it makes me think of like with my cousin Vinny. Right, I'll learn as I go.
Yeah,
he's read the book, and figure out what you're gonna do, because you really he comes all clueless. I remember when they hired Joe Torre. I know a lot of us can remember the back page of the Daily News. Clueless Joe. When he was hired as the manager. No, Boone's got that beat. At least Torre, he might not have had success anywhere else, or minor success, but he figured it out, and he kept a team that, throughout that dynasty, he kept the, he might not have been the sole reason why they were winning all those games. Obviously, the talent was a big part of it. A competent GM was a huge part of it, and he was able to keep them grounded, keep them focused on the task at hand, which was winning games and winning World Series. Boone's like, I don't know, he's just kind of going with the flow. He has no clue what he's doing.
I think he mismanages a ton of games. He mismanaged the Marlins game.
Yep.
When he pitched to Berger, there was no reason for him to do it. Couldn't back up the reason why he did that. Pitched to Ohtani. Remember when we talked about that in our podcast at the time? I said it was the dumbest thing I could freaking think of. I mean, this is a guy that does this. Even when he's asked to manage the Yankees to a win, he can't seem to do it. So he's just not very good at his job. That's that simple. When he's asked to manage, he can't do it. He needs to lose his job. But is he the architect to this? No, not even close.
Yep. All right. Boom.
Sunil, Nickelback has never been on my playlist. In the history of playlists, Nickelback will never be on my playlist. I can guarantee you.
Oh, Nickelback. Wow. That's a little rough. That's a low blow. That's now you're fighting dirty, Sunil.
That is. That's fighting dirty, bringing up Nickelback. Come on. It's supposed to be on my side here.
Yep. But let's wrap this up. Prediction. When we come onto the stream tomorrow, yeah, Nickelback is just fucking gross. And you're right, low times. Boone is a B-rated entertainer. He's terrible. They hired him because he was good in front of the camera and still stutters a shit ton. And the reason that I think he does that is because it's not his own words. He's being told what to say in these press conferences. It's not like he's going into going out of the dugout right into the press booth. He's got to go and get his notes off the desk that the analytics people left him. Right. So, yeah, he's there for entertainment value only. And like I said, I really wish he would have never hit that fucking home run. That one home run is what gave him this spot.
That's true.
He would have never been
that one home run
in the wind if it wasn't that one home run.
We'd be paying back for that home run years later.
Yeah.
Since 2003, we've basically been paying it back.
Oh, God. And look, it was an awesome moment in the time, but looking back, was it really worth it? But that is going to wrap things for us today. tomorrow we'll be breaking down everything with the Hall of Fame, with the Jeter coming back to the stadium for Old Timers Day, not Hall of Fame Day, Old Timers Day, and there's going to be some changes going on, but it was a double-edged sword there, D-Rod. I agree. No, definitely, I'll take the win over the Red Sox. Back then there was no way we wanted that to happen. But we'll be breaking down everything with the Old Timers Day and some of the changes, some of the notable names that'll be there, and Jeter's return. His first Old Timers Day. So yeah, it's always a good time with you guys. Definitely. So hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this video out, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell the stranger on the corner selling newspapers, tell everybody. Come hang out with the Pinstripe Chronicles. It's always going to be a laugh. Always going to have a good time. No censorship. Say whatever the fuck you want. Vent however the fuck you feel like it. And you always have a place to hang out. So, as I always say, wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.